Hey there. I want to look at power chords a little more today. I did a power chord lesson a few weeks ago, so this is part 2 to the first lesson. I'd like to start by recapping what I looked at in the first lesson. Power chords are the most basic thing, one of the most basic things, and one of the first things that you'll learn as a guitar player. In this video, we're going to just sort of examine some of the options that are available using just 2 notes. In the first lesson, I basically said that if you pick a note and another note 2 frets higher on a next string down, so I'm just going to start here, move down 2 frets and 1 string, I have a power chord. And I can move that up and down the strings, or I can move across the strings. Right now I'm on the 6th and 5th. I can move to the 5th and 4th, and I can move to the 4th and 3rd, and up and down those strings. Including the open strings, an open string in the 2nd fret on the next string. Cool. If that went by really fast, maybe check out the first lesson on power chords. If that seems like really easy, let's explore some of the options we have using power chords. Let's start by compounding the power chord. Again, we have 2 notes in a power chord. So a root note, I'm going to start on the 6th string, 7th fret. And a power chord note which is a 5th interval higher than this note. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's your power chord. And let's add the octave note to your root. So it's just a bit bigger than your 2 notes. Quite simply, we're just making a bigger power chord. We still only have 2 notes, but we are compounding the root. Cool. Let's do some other things like this. Let's invert the power chord. Instead of having the lowest note be the root, let's have the lowest note be the 5th interval and the higher note be the root. One of the best examples that come to my mind that everyone would recognize would be so for example, I'm just going to take a C power chord. Like if I start with my first finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, I have a C. The power chord note to that would be, you know, a string down, 2 frets higher. So let's compound that and take away the lower root note, so we end up with just, and again, everyone knows it sounds a little heavier. Again, one of my sort of examples could be cool. But here's one of my favorite things to do with power chords, and this is sort of an influence from the 90s years. Some of the King's X and Soundgarden and Alice in Chains and stuff like that. There was a lot of detuning. So if we take our guitar and detune it, so we're tuning our E, down a whole step to be an octave lower than our 4th string. Right now, the bottom 3 strings of my guitar forms a power chord. So, I mean, a lot of that 90s grunge kind of came from that. It's really easy to play power chords and move them fast. You know, I guess an example that everyone would be familiar would be like right? So that's another thing that you can do, is just detune your guitar and you have a built-in power chord. Well, let's explore one more thing using power chords, and that is using some of the open notes in the first position. There are a few power chords that we can get that will sound really big. Just by utilizing some of the open notes. For example, some of my favorites are a big E power chord. Again, we only have 2 notes, the E and a 5th higher, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B. So we'd have an E and a B. Here's another E. So all we have to do is play a power chord, block out the 3rd string, and then get another B and another E. Right? Cool. Let's also do the same thing on the A string. If I start with the open A and I play the power chord note, which would be an E, and I'll bar my 1st finger and hit another A, and I'll take my pinky finger and put it on the E on the 5th fret of the 2nd string, and another A on the 5th fret of the 1st string. There's a big power chord, A. Let's do that one more time, moving to the D. So the 4th string open, the 2nd fret on the next string, there's your power chord. The 2nd string, 3rd fret, and the 1st string, 5th fret. So there's a big D power chord, A power chord, E power chord, and one more, and that would be a big G power chord. The 6th string, 3rd fret is a G. The power chord note is the D. So instead of playing it on the 5th string, 5th fret, play the 4th string open. So the G and the 4th string open make a power chord. So you're going to block out the 5th string. We have another G on the 3rd string open, another D on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and another G on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. Cool. So that gives you a few more options to explore with power chords. Yeah, have some fun with it. You know, there's probably a lot of music that you listen to that use these inversions of power chords. Explore all music and experiment with these, get creative with them, and have fun. And remember to play your guitar.